we are live.
Hello everyone, good afternoon and welcome back to your IELTS mini-series. My name is Deeksha and today we will be covering the listening module. So are you all ready to begin learning about the listening module? Are you all excited to begin? All right. Ishrat got marks. So do you mean you got your band? All right. Okay. So you attempted the listening module prior. All right. So yes, how many of you have attempted the listening module or the listening section? What difficulties do you face? Which of the 4 recordings do you find most difficult? So have you taken the listening exam earlier? Do you find it difficult? Which question do you find difficult? Is it the map question, multiple choice questions? Multiple choice, all right. Last recording, definitely yes. That is true. The last recording is the most difficult part, and we will be practicing the last section today. Good afternoon, everyone. So yes, just waiting for everybody to join, and till then you can tell me what difficulties do you face in the listening module? MCQs. So even I feel the MCQs are tough. Last part. All right. Okay. So yes, let's begin. My name is Deeksha, and I will be helping you through the entire listening module today. Before we begin, however, I would just like to inform you that since a lot of you have said that you face issues with multiple choice questions and maps. So in our IELTS Prep by LeapScholar app, there are a lot of listening audios for the listening module, where you can practice both MCQs and maps as well. So if you haven't downloaded the app yet, I would recommend and I would strongly suggest that you go to the Google Play Store and quickly download our IELTS Prep by LeapScholar app, which is free of cost, and it has practice material for all the 4 sections. Okay. So yes, let's begin with the listening module. So first, I am doing well. Thank you, Harsh. Okay. So I can see a lot of familiar faces. Great. Excellent. All right. So let's understand what exactly happens in the listening module. So there are total 40 questions and there are 4 recordings. So after every recording, it is going to be followed by 10 questions. And these 4 recordings play for just 30 minutes. So it's just half an hour. Now, after these 30 minutes, if you're taking the paper-based test, how many of you are taking the paper-based test? Reena, all right, downloaded the app. So how to log in? Just log in with your phone number. That's all. It's very simple. Okay. So yes, those of you who are taking the paper-based test, you will get 10 minutes time extra to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. So please make sure that you are transferring all your answers, because the question paper is not going to be submitted or checked. So please ensure that you are transferring your answers, and be very careful while transferring them. Okay, now those of you who are taking the computer-based test, like Shipra, I can see Shipra is taking it. So how many of you are taking the computer-based test? Okay, so good news for all of you. In the computer-based test, after every recording, okay, you'll get some time, so around maybe like 30 seconds, which is more than enough, and you can, fill your answers there and then. So please keep filling your answers along with while you're listening to the recording. Okay. And after this as well, you get 2 minutes extra to make sure to check whether I've answered all the questions or not. So not just in the computer-based test, you get more than enough time to answer to write your answers side by side. Additionally, you get 2 minutes extra, which is a lot of time, to be very honest. Okay. Now, as I said, there are 4 recordings. These 4 recordings get progressively difficult. What does that mean? Progressively difficult? All right. That means that recording number 1 is the easiest. 2 is a little difficult. 3 is a little more difficult. And the last recording is the most difficult. So the toughness, the difficulty level increases with each recording. All right. Okay. Now, what to expect in each recording? In the first recording, there are 2 people talking. It's usually a conversation. In the second recording, only one person speaks. The second recording is the one where you usually get your maps. All right. The third recording, again, you have a conversation between up to 4 people. All right. And the fourth recording is again by one speaker. And this recording is special because it is like a lecture. So somebody is giving a lecture or somebody is giving a speech, and you need to follow follow the discussion to understand his opinion, to understand his ideas. So in the last recording, why exactly it's difficult, I'll inform you. It is difficult because the person continuously, could change his point of view. So it can be like a speech where he's supporting one side, and then later on he says, okay, but then this other option is better. So he could change his opinion. Also, in the last recording, one more thing happens. So there's a lot of paraphrasing, a lot of extreme amount of paraphrasing is there. So what will happen is the person will speak words which are different, and the words which are given to you in the question will be different. For example, the person could say that, let's say, McDonald's provides cheap and delicious food. All right. So this is what he says in the audio. This is what you hear in the audio. But what you would get in your sentence, so you will not get the same sentence. In the sentence, you will get McDonald's provides affordable and tasty dash. So now you need to understand that cheap and delicious have their synonyms affordable and tasty, and the word which is missing is food. So there is going to be a lot of paraphrasing which is used. So you need to, this is why the last recording is the most difficult because students are not able to keep track of where exactly, which sentence is he on. Because when he's saying provides cheap and delicious food, I can read affordable and tasty. So I lose track of the recording. I don't understand where he is, where exactly he's speaking, right? Okay, so that is what you need to be careful about. Yes, Jobanpreet. So yes, if you are taking the computer-based test, I would recommend you to transfer your answers during the audio. Yes. All right. Moving forward, another thing that is very important is that you must use a pencil only in the listening and reading exams. Please do not use a pen. And there is no negative marking. So even if your answer is wrong, you will still not get -1. So please do not leave any answer blank. If you've not heard the answer or if you don't know what the answer is, that's okay. Guess, predict, just make a wild guess. You never know, your guess might just be correct. All right, moving forward. So now moving to the tips that I am going to give you. Before I begin, again, I have written the format on the screen. So you can see section 1 is a conversation between 2 speakers. Section 2 is a single speaker speaking, which is usually your map. Section 3 is a conversation of up to 4 speakers. And section 4 is a university style lecture, talk, or a speech. So don't worry, we will be practicing a lot of section 4 today. All right, we'll make sure that we practice this a lot. Okay. Another thing that I want to inform you is the listening test is the first part of the IELTS exam. So what does that mean? The moment you enter the room, the first thing that you answer is the listening exam, and then you are given the reading exam, and then that followed by that you get the writing exam. No, Deb Moy, absolutely not. So here, as you can see, it says you will hear each recording once only. So please make sure that you're listening very clearly. It's only going to be played once. And because you will hear it only once, it is very important that you read the question beforehand. So read your question beforehand and try to predict what the answer can be, so that it becomes easier for you to hear the answer when it's played. All right. Now, moving forward, what are my tips for listening? So yes, tips for listening are you need to, if you want to improve your listening skills, you will have to be exposed to a lot of English. So watch a lot of English movies and films to get a good idea of uh, to understand their tone of voice. And a lot of times the rate of speech is different in movies, right? Sometimes the rate of speech is really slow. In some movies the rate of speech is very fast, right? So you need to listen to a lot of movies. Sorry, another advantage of watching films is that you get exposed to a lot of different English accents. So not just British and American, the exam uses a lot of different accents. For example, your Australian accent from New Zealand, Canadian accent. So all of different accents are used, which is why it's very important that we watch a lot of films and movies. And another tip is listen to a lot of English music. So makes you um, it makes you understand words even when they're being spoken very fast. So for example, rap songs, right? They speak really fast, and that helps you understand and be habituated to listening to fast English as well. All right, so this is a really good idea. Please watch as many movies and songs and TED Talks as you can. So yes, Sony, desert and dessert are both different, right? One desert is the uh, area without water, right? The dry area. And one dessert is your sweet dish. So you see, incorrect spellings can change the entire meaning. That's a very good answer that Sony has given us. She said that I misspelled. I incorrectly spelled desert as dessert. So do you see that the meaning has changed? Just one incorrect spelling can change the entire meaning of the word. See, Arshad, you shouldn't decide which one is easier to listen to. You will have to listen to all of them, because in the exam you will get both British and American, right? British, American, and Australian. So it's better if we listen to all kinds of English. All right. Okay. Now, how to approach the task? So try to work out the context of the language. Who are the speakers? Try to guess. Who is the speaker? Why are they speaking? Try to guess what their answers must be. What are they talking about? So, for example, are they talking about money? If they're talking about money, think of the vocabulary related to money. So, for example, cash, dollars, pounds, money, credit card, right? So these could be the answers. Similarly, if the speakers are in a university, so they will be using vocabulary related to universities, right? They could talk about a lecture, about a subject. So your answers will be related to that vocabulary as well. All right. The next thing is the fact that we will only hear the recording once. So read the questions before you listen. Today as well, I will play the recordings only once, so that we can be as close to the real format as possible. And the most important tip is predict the part of speech. So predict the answer is going to be noun, adverb, verb, or adjective. For example, if I tell you this sentence, All right. He is a very dash man. What part of speech is the answer going to be? Can you guess the part of speech? So in this sentence, what do you think fits? Intelligence or intelligent? If in the audio you hear both these words, which of these would you write? Can you tell me which one would you write? Exactly, very good. So adjective, excellent, which is intelligent. Good, perfect. So this is how you can predict what your answer is going to be a lot of times before the audio is even played. Okay. Then be very careful for double negatives. So what are double negatives? For example, if I tell you the book was not uh, okay, what if I tell you the speaker says I was barely able to read the book? So what does this mean? That she enjoyed reading the book? Or does it mean that she struggled to read the book? What does it mean? Exactly. So it's the second one, right? She struggled to read the book. All right, great. Okay, one more question. What if I tell you so the food was not bland? What does that mean? The food was tasty or the food was not tasty? What do you think? So the food was not bland. What does it mean? Now there's a double negative here, right? It says not bland. If I said the food was bland, that means it was not tasty. Exactly, Ritika. Very good. It was tasty. Very good. So, yes, the correct answer is the food was tasty. All right, great. Perfect. So, look out for double negatives. Okay. So, another thing. Now, how are your scores converted in case of listening? This is your listening band converter. So, for a band 7, you need at least 30 to 31 answers correct. And for a band 7.5, you need 32 to 34 answers correct. All right, so you can refer to this band converter. And whenever you're taking a mock test, check what band am I getting. The listening module is very easy. I think all of us can aim for a band 8.5 and above. All right. Okay. Now coming to the word limit, a lot of you have questions about the word limit. So every word is counted. All right. Every word is counted as one word. So this includes your articles. Articles are counted. All right. Conjunctions are counted. Every word is counted. Okay. Okay. Now, if the instructions state one word only and the answer is a number, what you can do it, write it in letters. So, for example, you can write two as two. All right. Hyphenated words are counted as one word. So, for example, fair head. It's not two words, it is one word. All right. 24 months. So, 24 is one word because it's hyphenated, and then months is one word. So, it's two words. All right. Be careful with the spelling and grammar, as incorrect spellings will lead to a loss of marks. So your spellings need to be correct. Now, in your grammar, your capitalization is also considered, right? Capitalization rules of capitalization are also in grammar. So if it's a proper noun, for example, Taj Mahal, or if it's my name, Diksha, and if I write it without capital, will it be correct? No, right? It's a proper noun. It has to be written as this. So either write it with the first letter capital, or another hack is you can write all the answers in capital letters. All capitals you can use. All right. Rahul, the band converter is same for general and academic because the exam is same. Listening exam is same. All right. So today, be careful with your capitals, and you can just write in all capitals. Okay. So let's begin. Ready to hear the audio? Please put your earphones. Try and use earphones if possible. That will make sure that the recording is clearly heard. All right. So please put on your earphones. Ready? Okay. So let's read the questions. Here are the questions. The most widespread style of graffiti in Brazil is. Now, okay, just 1 second before we begin. For MCQs, I wanted to inform you, for your multiple choice questions, read the questions beforehand, but don't read the options, because if you read all the options, you will get confused. So read only the questions. And in case of multiple choice questions, all of your choices will be repeated. All of the choices will be heard. So you need to be careful, and you need to understand which choice A, B, or C is answering the question. All right. So for example, what that means is that if the question has 4 choices, for example, it says, when was Diksha born? All right. And the choices say Delhi, B, in summers, C, it says, let's say the exact date, 01/01/95, and then option D says India. So you have to choose the option. All 4 of these options will be spoken in the recording, all 4 of them. In the recording, the person will say, Diksha was born in Delhi in the summers of January in India. All right. So all 4 options are there, but which option is answering the question? When? The question is when. So the exact date. Now, yes, it is true that in summers, but the exact date is more accurate, right? So you need to choose that option which is answering the question. All right. So let's begin. These are your questions. Let's read the questions for 10 seconds. Yes, Sony, you can use all capitals in computer-based test also. No, Harsh, band score is exactly the same for both general and academic sections. That difference is there for reading modules. Exactly, Priya. So when means date. All right. So the most widespread style of graffiti in Brazil is. So you have 2 keywords now. Brazil, which is a capital, which is a good keyword. Next, Brazilian graffiti is different from simply some scribbling on wall because, so how is it different? The reporter in the center of Sao Paulo mentions all of the following except. So what does the third question mean? Which one does he not mention? Right? The group of people mentioned by the reporter know what the graffiti on the buildings say because. So why do they know it? And the more risky the process of graffiti tagging is, the more its artist is dash. So 5th question has 3 options. A, B, and C is here. All right. So let's begin. I'm playing the audio.
Artists led me through Paris and in part 1, street artists led me through Paris and Barcelona. They showed me bold, colourful murals that make political and social statements pro-equality, pro-human rights, anti-capitalism, anti-war. The messages are clear. In Brazil, there is a lot of that kind of street art. In fact, much of it has actually been legalised. But it's nowhere near as widespread as a very different, dangerous, illegal style of graffiti tagging that's exploded over the past 30 years across Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. You're not going to see it on TV during the Olympics, but it's part of what we're going to hear about this week.
The first thing that caught my attention was seeing that it wasn't simply like some scribbling on a wall, that actually the letters, they had a harmony or a lack of harmony, or they have a composition, or they had an attitude, or they look almost like the skeletons of cartoons. They took originality seriously.
It's Thursday evening and it's just starting to get dark. I'm right in the centre of Sao Paulo, near Praça da República, and I'm approaching a huge group of loud, very enthusiastic people. There must be about 200 to 300. Most of them are young, they're almost all male. They're standing, drinking, talking, passing notebooks around. At the end of the street, I could see about 4 or 5 police cars keeping an eye on things. And if I look up, not just in this street, but in pretty much any street in Sao Paulo, if I look up at the buildings, right up to the top, the buildings are covered. Almost every blank space between the windows, quite often the windows themselves, the doors, the shop signs, they're all painted with thick black writing. I've no idea what it says, and I'm told that many of the locals don't know what it's meant to say either. But this group of people here, they know exactly what it says, because they wrote most of it.
Então vou pichar no sapatinho. Polícia sai do pé que eu vou gastar minha colotinha. Então vou pichar no sapatinho. Polícia sai.
The thing about the tag is where you place it. The more risk it poses to the artist's life, the more street cred you get.
It's the most high, the most difficult place. Let people imagine how the guy put that tag on that place. You know, this is the magic of Pichação.
All right, so this was a difficult one, right? How was it? Was it easy or difficult? Okay. Great. So the first answer, a lot of you have gotten it correct. Good. Good, Ramandeep. Tasmina, no. No, Priya, the 5th isn't correct. All right, Shipra, very good. Apart from the 5th answer, all are correct. Good, Shipra. Okay, so let's discuss the answers. If you want to listen to the audio again, you can just after the session ends, you can come back and listen to the audio. All right, the video will be there. You can listen to it. So sometimes there might be background noise. All right. Okay, so let's discuss the answers for the first question. The answer is C, dangerous and illegal. Why? Because for the first 2 answers, they are talking about different states. So they are saying in Paris and one more state. He says in Paris and some other country. Not sure. Paris and Barcelona. All right. So he says in Paris and Barcelona. And then for that, those 2 countries, he says these 2 things. For Brazil, he says it's dangerous and illegal. Then in the second question, he says sometimes it lacks harmony, sometimes it doesn't lack harmony. So this is not always is not correct. All right. The correct answer is it takes originality seriously. Next, the reporter in the center says all of the following except. So he says he's approaching a huge loud group of people and there are some police cars. But in the beginning, he says it is Thursday evening. So he doesn't say that it's Tuesday evening. Then the group of people know what the graffiti on the buildings say because they wrote most of it. And in the last question, he says the more risky the process of graffiti tagging is, the more its artist gets street cred, which means credibility, right? So that means the more he is respected among other graffiti taggers. So the correct answer is C. All right, okay, clear? If you want to hear the recording again, you can come back to this video after the live ends and you can listen to it again, all right? So I'm moving forward because we have a lot more questions to cover. All right, so let's continue. Okay, let's move forward to note completion questions. So here is your question. It says drive from Melbourne to Phillip Island approximately dash kilometers. So can you predict what will be the first answer? Can you guess? Before I play the recordings, I want all of you to predict the answers and tell me in the chat box. All right, and then it says takes about dash. So what can the second answer be? Very good. So the first answer is going to be a number. Okay, people go there to observe the dash returning home. Observe the dash which are returning home. So what? And watch seals from dash or through telescopes. So where can you watch seals from? What do you think? Very good. So some kind of time, right? Great. Exactly. Some kind of time is going to be there. All right, let's listen to the audio.
Melbourne is situated on the northern shore of Port Phillip Bay in Victoria. The Mornington Peninsula is the eastern arm of the bay, and it's a 120-kilometre journey by car from Melbourne to Phillip Island along the Bass Highway. It's a very popular holiday destination for people living in Melbourne. You can do the trip by car in roughly 2 hours and take in the magnificent scenery along the way. You need to get the ferry across to the island. Phillip Island is famous for its little penguins, and many tourists go there just to see them. People like to watch the penguins making their way along the beach at the end of the day. Other visitors enjoy the chance to do some seal watching from boats or through the telescope set up on the hill.
All right, this was easy, right? Great. So everybody has got the first answer correct, except for Bhardwaj. So Bhardwaj, why did you write kilometers? Kilometers is already mentioned there. So you didn't need to write kilometers. This is already there. Only the missing word had to be written. Same, Arshdeep also has written kilometers. Okay, so the answer is 120, not 120 kilometers. Then takes about 2 hours. You can write it like that, or you can write 2, whichever you like. Observe the penguins returning home and watch seals from boats. You can also write a boat. Boats or a boat, both are correct. Apart from this, any answer is not going to be considered correct. So Gia and facts about life, the spelling of ours is not correct, so you won't get the marks. You've spelled ours wrong. Himain has also written kilometers. No, Bhardwaj, it has to be in plural. Penguins has to be plural. No, Prashant, he says boats. So you can write boats or you can write a boat. But if you don't write and if you just write boat, it will not be correct. Without article, it's not correct. Both, Shweta, both are correct. 2 hours and 2 hours, both are correct. No, you cannot write B in capital. Either write complete boat in capital. Tasmina's spelling of penguins isn't correct. So no, you will not get full marks. And Tasmina, 2 hours. You had to write hours also. Only 2 is not correct. Okay, let's move forward. The next question. So here it is giving you instructions. Write no more than 3 words and a number. So now you're allowed to write 3 words. It says train now arriving at dash. What do you think? What can be the first answer? Can you predict? Please write in the chat box. Yes, Swami, you'll be given a rough sheet. You're allowed to write down. Yes, Arshad, listening is always in order. Okay, meet boys outside station dash. What do you think the second is going to be? Bring leather jacket, bring dash to repay Charlie. So what can you bring to repay someone? Exactly, very good. So the first is going to be some kind of a time. All right. Okay, so let's listen to the audio. So yes, name of station. All right.
Hello, Justine Cox speaking.
Oh, hi, Mum. It's Ben. Just calling to say that the 6 o'clock train has been cancelled and we're now getting the 7:15, which gets in at 8:30. Can you pick us up from the station?
Yes, of course. But can you do me a favour? Can you wait outside under the clock? 'Cause I'll never get parked in the station car park.
Sure. And, Mum, can you bring my leather jacket? Because it's absolutely freezing and I haven't got a coat.
Right.
Oh, and yes, I need to pay Charlie back for the train ticket. I had to borrow £13 from him, so could you bring that too?
OK. See you both soon.
All right. No, so she says the train starts at 7:15, Preet, but it reaches at 8:30. Harsh, how do you write 8:30? Half, not 8:15. No, the first answer, a lot of you did not get it right. So she says 8:30. How can we write that? So either you can write 8:30 like this, or you can write 8:30, or you can write 8:30, or you can write it in words as well. All right. Meet boys outside station under the clock. Bring how many pounds? 13 pounds, right? So you can write 13 pounds or you can write 13 pounds. Both are correct. All right. So Bengal pounds has to be plural. It cannot be pound. Okay, let's move forward to the next question. No, Arshad, you can't write 8:30. All right, moving forward, flowchart completion. So there are 2 types of flowcharts. One is where you are supposed to complete the gaps from the recording, from the same words that you hear in the recording. And the second is where you are given a list of possible options from which you select the answers. So you'll get a table and you need to fill the word from the table. All right. So this is the first one that we can see. It says write no more than 2 words and a number. So it's allowing you to write a number. Be careful for the second answer. All right. For the second answer, it says brothers viewed as pioneers of dash. What does pioneer mean? What do you think pioneers mean? So pioneer is something who does some activity for the first time. right? Who invents something? Who invents something for the first time? Okay, third answer. One cooks on burgers, one cooks on dash. What do you think it's going to be? All right, 1950 burger sales reached dash. What is the fourth answer going to be? And fifth, McDonald Brothers sold the business and dash. So what did they sell along with the business? So yes, somebody who invents, correct. First to explore. Yes, Arshad, the listening exam is same for both general and academic. There's no difference. All right, exactly. The second answer is going to be some kind of a food. All right, let's listen to the recording quickly.
Opened their first hamburger restaurant in California in 1940, but within 8 years they had closed it down and reopened as a takeaway restaurant. This was a place that offered food that was both cheap and good quality. They also offered practically no service. For example, you lined up for your food, paid at the counter, and took it to your own table or car. For this reason, the McDonald brothers were seen as restaurant pioneers because they were the first people to do this, to invent the idea of fast food. But that wasn't the only novel idea they came up with. They also brought in the entirely new concept of specialization, where staff in the kitchen each had their own job. In other words, they had one person cooking the burgers, while another person was doing the milkshakes, and so on. They liked to advertise their sales success, and so in 1950 they proudly put up a sign outside their restaurant telling the world that they had sold 1 million burgers. That doesn't seem so many nowadays, but in those early days it was quite an achievement. Then in 1961 the brothers decided they'd had enough of the hamburger business, and so they sold the company for $2.7 million along with the name. Today there is barely a country in the world where you cannot get a McDonald's hamburger.
All right, so how was this? Let me see the answers. Okay, good. So most of you have gotten the answers correct. Now, Jia, it has to be in plural. Rupali, it has to be plural. Good, Ritika. But Ritika, why is the M capital? So the M is capital, not correct. Gurjeet, it's not 2 words. Not correct. Usha, it's not 2 words. Vatsal, it is not 2 words. Good, Bhardwaj. All right. Good, Rupali. First is correct. Yes, Arshdeep, first is correct. No, Pooja, that's not what he says. Yes, Vatsal, correct. Yes, Pooja. Venkat, the first answer is incomplete. Exactly. Good, Pooja. Very good. All right, so let's discuss the answers. The first one is, he says cheap. So cheap is already there, affordable and good quality food. You need to write the complete answer, good quality, not just quality. All right. Brothers viewed as pioneers of. Now, I told you that pioneers means that somebody who's inventing something for the first time, right? So restaurants is not something that they invented. They invented the idea of fast food. All right, next. So cooks on burgers, one cooks on milkshakes. It has to be plural and it is 1 word. It's not 2 words. Burger sales reached 1 million. You can write 1 like this or like this. And sold the business and the name. So those are your correct answers. Any doubts? Counter, where did you see counter, Shravan? No, he said good quality food, not counter. Yes, 1 million is correct. A restaurant, no, Shravan. So restaurants were something that existed before as well, right? They did not invent restaurants. They invented the idea of fast food. Yes, Amrit, even if, all right. So yes, in the last one, even if you don't write the, it's still correct. Name is also correct. Shipra, both are correct. The name and name both are correct. You can choose if you want to write the article or not. Yes, only name we can write. Yes, correct. All right. Okay, let's move forward and solve the next question. So next we are going to practice form completion. So here is your form. It says no more than 3 words. All right, it's allowing you 3 words. It is not allowing you numbers. All right, words only, no more than 3 words. So type of property dash. What do you think? What are the different types of properties? Can someone tell me the types of properties? All right, Pathan. Interesting. Very interesting. Pathan is saying there's a movie on McDonald's. Okay. So KAI said either write in full capitals, otherwise don't write milkshake in capitals. Milkshake is not a proper noun. Okay. Address to, this is blank. Monthly rent $700, 3 dash. What do you think? What will come here? $700? Exactly. So type of property can be house, apartment, land. Okay, and plus $30 for what? Then think about it. View of what? So what can you have a view of? Then his name and telephone. Okay, $700 cash per month. No Rahul, no Shipra. So see, it is saying monthly rent. Monthly rent is already mentioned here. That means the answer cannot be per month. All right. It cannot be per year also, Ritika. Monthly rent is mentioned here, right? So it's not going to be per month. Okay, let's continue. Let's listen to the audio.
And answer questions 1 to 7.
Hi, Bellingham Real Estate Agents. Could you hold, please?
Okay.
Sorry about that. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I'm looking for some tenants for my house, and I was hoping you could advertise it for me.
Sure, no problem. Is it here in Vancouver?
No, it's just outside in Richmond.
Very nice. It's a house, you say?
Yes, it's a family house. It's a 2-story, quite modern.
Right, and you're wanting to rent out the whole place, that right?
No, just 2 rooms are for rent. That's 2 bedrooms, plus the use of the rest of the house. It would really suit a couple of students.
Okay, can you just tell me the address, please?
Yeah, sure. It's 3281 Number 1 Road, Richmond.
Okay, that's quite a ways out. And how much were you thinking of for these rooms?
I thought $700 per room would be a pretty fair price.
Is that per month?
Sure.
Okay. You'd get at least $1,000 if you were in Vancouver.
Yeah, I know.
Any other costs?
Just the cleaner who comes in once a week.
Cleaner. Okay. And how much would your tenant have to pay her?
Him, actually. It's a guy. And that would be another $30 a month.
Okay. And it's nice? I mean, it's got a view and things?
Sure, it looks out over the ocean. No garden, but there's lots to look at from the lounge.
Okay. And your name is?
Peter Trubois.
Trubois. Is that B-O-Y-S?
No, it's Truboise.
Trubois. Nice name. And your address?
It's the same one as I just gave you.
Fine. As above. Got a phone number you can give me?
Sure, I'm calling you from it. It's 604-74106.
And a cell?
Yep, that's 903.
All right.
277-39.
Let's check the answers.
Listening set.
So what type of property was it? You can either say modern house. You can also say family house, or you can just say house as well. All are correct. All right. Then road, it was number 1 road. Monthly rent, so it already says monthly. So it is going to be $700 per room, right? $30 for the cleaner and view of over the ocean. Then his name was Peter Trubois and his phone number. All right, so these are your answers. You can check them. You can write 1 in numerals as well. So yes, you can write it like this also. All right. Any other questions? Any doubts? Yes, even if you say just ocean, that is also correct. All right, that's correct. Yes, only cleaner is correct. That's fine. You can write cleaner. Yes, correct. So yes, family house I've written here. The cleaner, both are correct. The ocean, yes, you can write the ocean. That's fine. Over the ocean and the ocean, both are correct. Yes, Bengal, let me know. Yes, Harpreet. All right, let's move forward to the next last question. This is a difficult question, slightly difficult. All right. And this comes in the last passage. So this is the 4th recording. It will be a little difficult. Let's read the questions. So it says, write 1 word only. All right. And there are total 10 questions. Indian Railways is owned and dashed by the government of India. There are more than dash million people working for Indian Railways. The dash of the railways from 1857 occurred under Robert Maitland Brereton. The joining of the East Indian Railway with the Great Indian Peninsula led to a network of dash kilometers. The route from Bombay to Calcutta opened in 1870 was an dash for the book Around the World in 80 Days. Okay, can you guess the second answer and the 34th answer? And what do you think the 35th answer is going to be? I think we can guess these answers. No, Bengal, per month is not correct because it already says monthly rent. Exactly. Good, Usha. Yes, Urvashi. So the 32nd and 34th answers are probably numbers. No, Tasmina, you can't write only 2 boys. Exactly. So Rupali has given us a brilliant hint. Rupali says in the 35th question, there is an. So the word is going to begin with with a vowel, right? Good, excellent observation. Rupali, very good. So yes, remember it says word only. So you will have to write the number also in words. All right. Exactly, Arshdeep. Correct. Good observation again. Yes, Gurjeet. Last one will be a vowel. All right. Let's read the next set of questions also. So there are more questions for the same recording. Here are the next set of questions. It says questions 36 to 40, write no more than 2 words for each answer. Now for these questions, it's allowing you 2 words. and it's giving you the years. So the years are very important. All right, what do you think the 36th answer is going to be? The network radiated from Dash, Madras and Calcutta. What can it be? So some city, right? Good. And what about the 37th answer? It was not long before various independent kingdoms had their own Dash. Okay, this is not clear. When the war finished, the railways were suffering from Dash. And between 1920 and 29, the railways had a Dash of around 687 million. The rolling stock that was moved to the Middle East included locomotives and Dash. Okay, so let's listen to the audio and check if our guesses are correct or not. So we've already guessed that 2 of the answers are numbers, and the 35th answer, it begins with a vowel. Okay, let's listen to the audio now.
when
Listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
In today's lecture, we're going to be talking about the history of Indian railways, from when they began up until 1945, when they had all been taken over by the government. Indian Railways is an Indian state-owned enterprise, owned and operated by the Government of India through the Ministry of Railways. It is one of the world's largest railway networks, comprising 115,000 kilometers of track, over a route of 65,000 kilometers, and there are 7,500 stations. It transports over 25 million passengers daily, which is over 9 billion on an annual basis. Indian Railways is the world's 9th largest commercial or utility employer by number of employees, with over 1.4 million employees. The history of rail transport in India began in the mid-19th century. The core of the pressure for building railways in India came from London. In 1848, there was not a single kilometer of railway line in India. A British engineer, Robert Maitland Brereton, was responsible for the expansion of the railways from 1857 onwards. The Allahabad-Jabalpur branch line of the East Indian Railway had been opened in June 1867. Brereton was responsible for linking this with the Great Indian Peninsula Railway, resulting in a combined network of 6,400 kilometers. Hence it became possible to travel directly from Bombay to Calcutta. This route was officially opened on the 7th of March in 1870.
All right, moving forward to the next page.
Building railways in India came from London. In 1848, there was not a single kilometer of railway line in India. A British engineer, Robert Maitland Brereton, was responsible for the expansion of the railways from 1857 onwards. The Allahabad-Jabalpur branch line of the East Indian Railway had been opened in June 1867. Brereton was responsible for linking this with the Great Indian Peninsula Railway, resulting in a combined network of 6,400 kilometers. Hence it became possible to travel directly from Bombay to Calcutta. This route was officially opened on the 7th of March in 1870 for French writer Jules Verne's book, Around the World in 80 Days. At the opening ceremony, the Viceroy Lord Mayo concluded that if possible, at the earliest possible moment, the whole country should be covered with a network of lines in a uniform system. By 1875, about £95 million were invested by British companies in Indian railways. By 1880, the network had a route mileage of about 14,500 kilometers, mostly radiating inwards from the three major port cities of Bombay, Madras, and Calcutta. By 1895, India had started building its own locomotives, and in 1896 sent engineers and locomotives to help build the Uganda railways. In 1900, the Great Indian Peninsula Railway became a government-owned company. The network spread to the modern-day states of Assam, Rajasthan, and Andhra Pradesh, and soon various autonomous kingdoms began to have their own rail systems. In 1905, an early railway board was constituted, but the powers were formally vested under Lord Curzon, the then Viceroy of India. It served under the Department of Commerce and Industry and had a government railway official serving as chairman, a railway manager from England, and an agent of one of the company railways as the other two members. For the first time in its history, the railways began to make a profit. In 1907, almost all the rail companies were taken over by the government. The following year, the first electric locomotive made its appearance, and with the arrival of World War I, the railways were used to meet the needs of the British outside India, but with the end of the war, the railways were in a state of disrepair and collapse. In 1920, with the network having expanded to 61,220 kilometers, a need for central management was mooted by Sir William Ackworth, a British railway economist. Based on the East India Railway Committee chaired by Ackworth, the government took over the management of the railways and detached the finances of the railways from the other government revenues. The period between 1920 and 1929 was a period of economic boom. There were 66,000 kilometers of railway lines serving the country. The railways represented a capital value of some 687 million sterling, and they carried over 620 million passengers and approximately 90 million tons of goods each year. Following the Great Depression, the railways suffered economically for the next 8 years, and the Second World War severely crippled the railways. Starting in 1939, about 40% of the rolling stock, including locomotives and coaches, was taken to the Middle East. The railway workshops were converted to ammunition workshops, and many railway tracks were dismantled to help the Allies in the war. By 1946, all rail systems had been taken over by the government.
All right. Okay.
That is the end of section 4.
So were you able to get all the answers? All right, let's discuss the answers. Do you want me to play the recording again? Was it difficult? Do you want me to play it again? If you want, I can play it again and stop where the answers are there. No? All right, easy. Okay, Shankar. Then I'll discuss the answers. So Indian Railways is owned and operated by the state government. There are more than 1.4 million. So now there is no other way to write 1.4 million in words. So you can just write 1.4, that's fine. The dash of the railway, so the expansion of the railways, all right, the joining of the East India Railway led to a network of 6,400 kilometers. Now, again, there's no way to write this in words without exceeding the word count. So you can just write 6,400 or you can write 6,400. All right, the route from Bombay to Calcutta, opened in 1870, was an inspiration. And they also named the author Jules Verne, right? So these answers, did you get all correct? Okay, moving forward to the next page. So the name of the city was Bombay. We had already predicted it. That was correct. The name of the city was Bombay. Had their own railway systems. Even if you wrote rail systems, that is also correct. All right. When the war finished, they were suffering from disrepair and collapse. You can write this in any order. All right, any order is correct. Okay, the railways had a capital value. And the last one was locomotives and coaches. Okay, so how many did you get right? Out of 10, how many did you get right? So how many of you got 10 on 10? Let me see your names. Absolutely correct, Soni. No, it was not Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh. See, it's saying when the war finished, the railways were suffering from something. So not from the names of the states. That is not making sense. Okay, Harshdeep. Okay, out of 9, how many did you get correct? Anybody who got all 9, all 10 correct? So there were 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are actually 11. So out of 11, how many did you get correct? Okay, Chahat, excellent. 9 is a really good score. Very good, Sunny. 9 is good. All right, so we should have got at least 9 correct or 8. Okay, 8 is also good, Ajay. Good. Good, Prince. Okay, no worries. I'm sure we can get there with practice. Good, Sukhdev Singh. Very good. Brilliant. All right. So with that, we come to the end of our session. So how were the recordings? Were they too difficult or were they easy? So yes, 38 has 2 blanks. You should have got both correct for a mark. So yes, both should have been correct. All right, no worries. Don't worry. Even if you didn't get a lot of answers correct, after the video, this live ends, you can watch it again. So play the video audios again and you can try again. Check if then you're able to get the right answers. First and last was difficult, definitely. All right. Okay, thank you so much, all of you, for joining me all these 4 days for the mini series. It was lovely talking to you, and I loved the participation and the engagement. Thank you so much for the lovely response and for talking to me throughout this session through the chat box. I had a really good time. I was continuously, on my feet. I was not bored at all. Thank you so much. And I hope you liked the videos too, and they helped you a little. So if you like the IELTS series and you want us to do this again, like the video and you can put it in the comments box. We might do something like this again. All right. Thank you so much, all of you. And I shall see you soon on Tuesdays. Bye-bye. Yes, Arshad, you can write all answers in capital. All right. Harsh, 9 is good. Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. So last day of live. I'll see you on Tuesdays. See, Arshad, you can write few capitals and few small letters, but then you need to follow the rules of capitalization. So what are the rules? The proper nouns have to be in capitals. So make your life easy. Keep it simple. Use all capitals. All right. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.